Well, welcome everybody. Huntstock 2024, huh? August means we're almost to fall, doesn't it? It's kind of like the doldrums. I call it the doldrums of summer. Now, I enjoy summer. We got to have summer and all that, but back home I start baiting bears and my focus is all the way on hunting then. So, and that's what this is about, I think, is getting us ready for hunting season. No heckling down here in the front row. Got some Michigan guys. You guys drove all the way from Michigan, right?
Where from me? John.
Oh, John, the other guy. I met these guys this morning, yeah. I know Lee was from Maine. He was pointing out somebody from Michigan. I thought it was all of yous. Where's your Michigan buddy?
Lost the pack.
All right. So anyways, this presentation here is just a little bit about last season, so I can reminisce about this season, right? Think about what's going on, where I might have seen a track I didn't end up with, or didn't end up getting them and all of that. So, and then, oh, I got a little prize at the end. When we get to our questions at the end, I have a little prize for the best question. It's my grandson Ryland over there kind of helping out. Anybody recognize him? Yeah, okay. So he'll be the judge of the best question, okay? I don't want to have that kind of pressure on me. So, all right, what are we gonna do first here? Cue it up. All right. So, a couple years ago, I said I'm not guiding anymore, and then just was going to take Ryland and stuff. But last year, the guys asked me if I'd take this writer from Field and Stream. They wanted to do an article on me, I guess, and Big Woods and what we do. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. Because, you know, we don't know. We set this up back in the spring. You don't know when the snow is. And last year, the way Maine's, if you don't hunt in Maine, the way the calendar rolls is Thanksgiving week's our last week. So, you know, it rolls back a day every year for 5 years or 4, and then it leaps ahead. So last year was the earliest our deer season could be. It started the end of October, and the end of the week was November 4th. Well, this year, since it flipped, so November 4th is the first day of the season for the regular season. So anyway, I told him he should come up. He wanted to do some bare ground and some snow. So I said, well, you should come up on first week, a few days, and try that first. So anyways, he shows up on Sunday, and we got settled in and did our thing down the lodge. Start snowing that night. We got about 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. So I'm not going on my own, obviously. I'm not taking Ryland, but my buddy Lars over there took Ryland, and we went out and we hunted for a few days and saw some deer and tracked some around, but he didn't shoot one, which is all right. And then the end of the week, I thought he was going to do 3 days. He said, well, they told me to spend the week, and I go, well, all right. I said, I'm taking Ryland tomorrow. He said, well, I can catch up on stuff. He wanted to download his footage and whatever he was doing, write his stuff. So took Ryland out that next day, and I think we got on one and got pretty close. And anyways, I took him the next 2 days, and then the snow melted anyways. Friday it started raining, and it was gone by Saturday. So we got that out of the way. And that article, I guess Field and Stream's some new owners, and they're coming back with the actual magazine, print magazine. They're going to do a spring and a fall. So if you want to read what he wrote about, it'll be in Field and Stream this fall. I don't know when, but I'm sure it'll be promoted on social media or whatever. All right. Yeah, this was one of the tracks. We saw that. This is what I call the cross-country skiers there. You see, this was when the snow was, it looks like there's probably an inch, maybe a little bit more of an inch. When they drag their feet in that, especially early in the season, that's the big old ones. They're always dragging their feet. And doesn't that look like somebody's cross-country skied up through there? So those are the big ones. Those are the ones, if you see that, tell people if you're tracking, you know, you can look at the print and all of that and stride, you can look at all of that stuff. But if you see that, you can't lose that track, can you? I don't care how many other tracks he gets tangled up in, you can't lose that track. They're the easiest ones to track. They get mixed in, they're chasing does, whatever it is, you just look for that. That's it. So that's what that looks like, the skiers. And there's Ryland there. And the significance of this picture here was, you can see there was a little snow. I think that might have been the beginning of the second week, because we had said a little snow, most of it melted. And that was a signpost we found, or I knew it was there, but took him up there. And actually, we'd found it before. We'd gone in there in the spring, and we went back to that signpost, and that's going to fit into the story here. But so anyways, it's in a swale. You can see these signposts we find affiliated with that. I call it yellow grass, but might be brown looking to you, but it's in the wet ground. All right. So we get hunting there, and this was actually Residence Day. It was warm. We got our lightweight gear on that day, and he took his rifle, and I took my hand axe, and we built a couple of blinds there. Was that a video, Ryland? No, it's not. Okay. So we built a couple blinds, and we never went back to them, but we built a couple. But that's the fun of it anyways, finding them good places. And then there's another signpost. The funny story about this was, you see there's a little bit of snow again too. I think this might have been, we'd got a little dust in there in the second or third week early. And anyways, we got on a buck, and it went down in this swamp and down in the bottom, and there was no snow. And I hadn't been down in there for, geez, I know 10 years, and it might have been 15 years I hadn't been in that country. And I said to Ryland, I said, there used to be a signpost up here in this ravine somewhere. So I said, let's keep walking up in here. And so we walked up there, and sure enough, there it was. Looked just like it did 10 years ago or whatever. And there was, I think, 4 buck tracks. 4 bucks had been by it. You can see some shavings on the ground there under it. But 4 bucks had been by that right there. That's why I tell you about the signposts. It's the key to unlocking the big woods, really, because there ain't as many deer as most places, but that's their scent. That's where they leave their scent. And multiple bucks will go by those. Does will even go by and smell them and stuff too. But those are helpful for any way you want to hunt, not just tracking, because I go to those. If I know there's 5 in a certain piece of woods, that's where I go check for my tracks in the morning if there's snow. You check enough signposts any given morning, and you're going to find a buck track at one of them. And then they're good places to sit. Obviously, it was like I said, the snow had been there a few days, and it'd been 4 bucks by it. And if you got signpost areas like that, it's in them transitions along the wet ground and the, green and mixed growth, and that's just where them old bucks like to travel. Good places. Henry's Ryland's first buck. Anybody see that on the YouTube? Yeah, pretty good film. I'm kind of disappointed in myself, because I think I was probably more excited than he was, and we got all done, we got the deer, and I should have just set the camera up and filmed us eating our meatloaf sandwich and talking things over, but I never thought of it, my mind was somewhere else, I guess. I'll try to do better next time. But anyways, the significance was when we started out that day, like typical of many days tracking, you don't end up where you start out in the same thing. So we started out it was the day before Thanksgiving, and we had snow in the night, and it was still snowing. And I said, we probably won't even find a track, but we did. About a mile into it, we found what I figured had to be just a yearling buck. Well, we decided it was fresh. We had actually jumped it. When we see the track, we'd already jumped it because we just crossed paths with it. We took that one, and it led us quite a long ways, maybe nearly a couple of miles, and went right by that signpost that the picture was of in the beginning picture. And when we got to that signpost, a big buck had come right through there too. Older, this one we're on, we had jumped this one, it was fresh. But then there was a track there that had a little snow in it because it was snowing. So we got on that one, obviously. And that one took us to a bunch of deer this buck was rooting around in them. And this buck and the big buck had come out together following this doe. So we continued on. I let Ryland go in the front, and I just had to kind of say, you know, look here, look there, and what to do and stuff. But he said, let's have a sandwich, pupper. It's about sandwich time. I go, no, it's not sandwich time yet, Ryland. We got some business to do here. And like a half an hour later, he shoots the buck. So then we had our sandwich. But anyways, this was the smaller one. The buck we got on, this wasn't it. It just happened to be the one he saw coming up, creeping up the hill. And that's the one he saw. And so pretty good first buck, first tracking job, right? So that's on YouTube too, if you want to watch that one, if you haven't seen it. All right. Oh yeah, we had to get it on the pole at the house. Famous pole scene. All right. So, going it alone. And why? I'm getting a little long in the tooth like a few of yous in here. So we need a little bit more rest at night, right guys? Yeah, a little bit of extra rest. And when you're guiding, you can't get that rest because you've got to perform every day, and it wears you down. So I'd only been, since I started back in guiding again there 5-6 years ago, I was only taking 2 hunters anyway. I was doing the first 2 weeks. And then when I turned 65, my birthday present was I'm not guiding deer hunters anymore unless you just want to take somebody. So, but most of the why is because it's just hard to go 30 days straight ahead now. You don't recover as quickly and stuff. I can still go, I can still walk all day and all that. You just have to, it's a little bit different recovery time. And I wanted to spend more time training up Ryland because he wants to be a guide too, so got to get him trained up, right? Next generation. All right, Shorty Jones. That was a buck I shot in Maine. Obviously, he's pretty short. He might not look like that hanging out, but I was telling people that is the shortest deer buck I'd ever shot. He fit in a jet sled. Took him out in a jet sled, and he fit in the jet sled with just his head hanging over the front. And had a big track, and he was an older buck with a big track and all that, and he had them thick. When I first got him, I got up there, I go, oh, it's a nice buck, you know. I don't know if you know the bucks up Maine, you know, our bucks, they've got a big bone in their hind legs, all of them. They're just rugged, and you can barely get your hands around those back legs, and that's the way he was. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, geez, his head's right here, his hind end's right here. I said, he's not very long. Because when I first got up there, I go, yeah, that's 200-pounder all day long. And then when I got looking at him, I go, I don't know if that's 200 pounds. And he wasn't. Well, he felt like it after, because me and my buddy, that's John Benway, he guides for me. He helped me drag it out. It was 5 miles on an old logging road, so we walked 5 miles in and 5 miles out. So that was a 16-mile day, because I figured it was about 6 miles the time I found a track, killed him, walked back to the truck, and then 5 in and 5 out for 10 more. We looked pretty tired there. But anyways, end up weighing 197, which wasn't too bad. And areas on the pole. All right, and that's on YouTube too if you haven't seen it. Everything ends up on YouTube eventually, I guess. And then me and Ryland both tagged out, and they were getting some snow over in the Adirondacks, and I hadn't been for 5 years since I started leasing out Parlin Lodge there and hunting over and being down there for 5 years. So I had a chance to go because it was would have been our muzzleloader season, which there's still another week of rifle over there. So I went over there to hunt with my buddy Joe Donito and the Steve and Steve show, my buddies. So I headed out over there, and I think that's a film, isn't it? The next one is? Let's see the next slide. Oh. There he is. Is this the film? Yes, I think this is the film. I didn't get the chance to see him like that before I shot him. That ain't the way it was. It was trail camera footage. That Steve Gabrowski had that buck on trail camera. Whoop. We're gonna see a film. Talk to you later. All right, probably some of you had seen that before, right? Been on the YouTube. Sorry about that glitching in there. I don't know what caused that. It didn't, when I did it at the last Huntstock in New York, it wasn't doing that, so. You screw that up, Ryland? No? Okay. We'll have to get after Uncle Chris, won't we? Yep, all right, do that. So there's, that's back at camp. Joe's buck on the right, mine, and then Steve Gabrowski. He shot his the next day after mine, and it was kind of a little mistake, which I've done myself. He's tracking a big one, and this one come out through the fir trees head on. He could see the antlers coming, so he thinks it's on, he's on, and shot it. So 2.5-year-old, but that's all right. Yeah, so I named it. A lot of people messaged me and said, why'd you call that buck Hollywood? Well, to me, I guess it was, I called him that because he liked to be, Steve Gabrowski had that buck on that film in the beginning there when he was on the trail camera. He had him a couple times. I shot that buck like 200 yards from where he had his trail camera, and I didn't even know it. I'd never seen that buck on his trail camera. He never said nothing until afterwards. And well, I just called him Hollywood because he liked to be on film, see? I kind of think them things up about the names of mine. I don't name my bucks beforehand. I name them afterwards. Something about the hunt or whatever. My sister gave me this picture the other day. Put that in here. That's me on the left. I was about 5, 6. Ladies, how old was I? 5 or 6? Yeah, the women always know the age, us guys don't know it, but I had we all wear red back in them days, back in the 60s. Everything was red. See, my father had his red checkered wool pants, and I probably looked like I had a red snowsuit on. But I had my gun. I had a plastic toy gun, lever action, chrome-plated plastic with a black fore-end butt. And in my mind, I was going to kill a deer with that buck at that age. And then I graduated to a gun. My next gun was, some of you older fellas remember anybody remember Greenie Stickum caps? The round caps, not the roll of red ones. They had one you stuck them on. Well, they had this plastic gun, lever action, and it actually had a little bullet. They wouldn't allow them to be sold today because it shot a projectile, right? But you click the plastic bullet on the brass case and it had a spring in it. And when the hammer hit it, it'd shoot that plastic bullet, I don't know, 20 feet or something like that. But you put that Greenie Stickum cap and it went pap like that, and it would shoot. You know, we thought we were big shots with those guns. We all had them. And that was my next gun. And then I got a lever action BB gun and graduated to when I was 10. I got the 30-30 from my father, which was passed to him from my grandfather. And that's what I shot my first deer with when I was 12. So all you young fellas in here, take note. keep at it. If you got kids, bring them up in it. Next generation. All right. I guess this is a plug for the team. What do we got going on? We got the wool coats over there finally again. Try on for sizes. We got the wool pants. We got the YouTube channel and the podcast. Everybody knows that. Packs, plenty of them now. If anybody's interested in deer hunting with us, I do have a few openings for, I got a few in the Thanksgiving week for deer, American Plan, that's meals and lodging, we tell you where to go. And I think I got 1 or 2 for the first week. I figured I'd wait to post that till this thing was over. Give you his first dibs. And then up in the left is a field tracking guide. Me and Chris came up with that like 10 years ago or more. And they never sold that great. And I don't know why, because it's made out of plastic paper, plastic, it's impervious to the weather. But I designed it up so somebody could put it in their pocket, take it in the woods deer hunt with them. So if you got a question, if you're learning or whatever, and you got a question about it, it's all in here. Starting with a track, size, got a little scale on it, got all that information, what to do. Now I don't tell you what to do, I give you some choices in here. But anyways, I'm gonna give one away today. It's cheap, it's $10, you can buy them if you want, but I thought it's pretty valuable. And since we brought them back out because people saw them somewhere in probably an old film or something or whatever, and started asking for them again, so we reproduced another order of them. What do we got next here? Oh, we already kind of went through that. I had a guy earlier came up and wanted to know about the deer clinics. If you're interested in coming to one of my spring deer clinics, just email me. I booked that in December. I'll pick the dates, but they're in May, right after the snow gets out. And if you send me an email now, I'll put you in the folder and get back to you. Bear hunts, of course. I book all this stuff in December, but the bear hunts are booked and the moose hunts booked. Like I said, I got a few American Plan deer hunts. All right, here we go. This is for the prize here. So it's gonna be what I'd call the best question or the most, I don't know, what do we call that? Thoughtful, maybe the most thoughtful question. So here's your chance. Because the question you're thinking about, 10 other people are thinking it too, they just don't dare to ask it, right? That's usually how this goes. All right, young fella. If not from, oh, there we go. Say that again so everybody can hear that.
If not your grandson's first hunt, what would be your favorite hunting memory with him?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably is, if we got to go back from there, we got to go back to, well, I got a lot of them, but probably his first turkey too was a good one. So that was a good one, and then his first time he tried at a bear and missed. That was a pretty good one too. But they're all memories. People ask me what my favorite deer hunt was, or my favorite buck, or whatever. And I really don't have a favorite one, because they're all different, right? Every hunt is a different hunt. It's a different story. And they're all memories, but yeah, they're all good. My grandson, right? They're all gonna be good. All right, who else? Don't be bashful. Back in the back there, young lady. Wait a minute, he's gonna bring you the mic. I got a runner here. He's probably gonna run the prize too.
That's
so
good, I can't yell that. Ooh, it's very loud.
Don't be nervous.
Sorry, I'm sitting here with my fiance. We have a little boy due in December, and my question for you is, how do you get kids into hunting without, pushing it too hard and I've heard some people pushing it too hard, and then they want nothing to do with it. So
Yeah,
I want
that's a
them to-
good question, actually. A lot of people ask me things like that. Because his sister, my granddaughter's like 3 years older than him, and because he's too little, but she was getting to that age. So when she was, I don't know, 5 or 6, I got her 22 and had her painted it berry pink and put her name on it. Had the gal put her name on it, and what do you call that, glitter stuff. And I gave it to her for her birthday, and she didn't seem too excited when she got it. And I'm like, well, all right, that's the way she is, you know. A little while later, she comes to me and she goes, Papa, I don't really think I want to go hunting. And I go, well, you don't have to go hunting, honey. I said, you might want to just go shooting or something. That's why I got it for you. And so she didn't go hunting. And then after Ryland shot his first turkey, all of a sudden, his older sister now goes and gets a hunting license because she wants to go turkey hunting, right? So you just got to let kids come along. They're all different, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, I'll tell you, because I know plenty of people that they had a boy and a girl, and the girl took right to it and the boy didn't. Joe Cruzy, his daughter's crazy about hunting. His son, he's been hunting and he don't mind it, but doesn't go out of his way to go. So you just gotta go with their excitement level, I guess. And you gotta make it fun for them when they're little. Don't take them out in 15-degree weather and make them sit for 5 hours and freeze to death, because they ain't gonna wanna do that again, right? Yeah, make them sit an hour and go get them some hot chocolate or something, you know? Do something like that. And they'll decide whether they like it or they don't, right? But I think more importantly is just to get them in the woods anyways. It ain't just about getting in hunting, but get in the woods and show them the things in the woods, whether it's a fox track or anything. And I think that will lead to it, you know? Just being in tune with nature and stuff. Well, that's my philosophy on it. I don't know if that helps you. All right. Yeah, young fella. Ryland's coming with a mic.
What is a life lesson that you've learned from hunting and tracking?
That's a good question, huh? For a young fella. A life lesson. See, this is important stuff. The life lesson, I think, most importantly is, well, I think it's two things, and I've got a chapter in my book about it, but it's really, I think it boils down to don't quit. Because I call it persistence, never give up. You can call it what you want. Because too many people quit things in life, right? Kids quit school, adults quit work, you know. And usually those things come when the going gets a little difficult, right? That's when people want to give up on things. If everything's going great, people don't give up on it. But when things get difficult, that's the time people want to say, well, it's getting too cold, I'm going to head to the truck, or I don't think I'll ever catch up to that buck, I'm going to turn around and go back, or oh, the buck, he got into a bunch of tracks, I can't figure it out, and they give up. But if you keep giving up on things, you won't get there, right? And that's anything in life, and that's what you're asking about. You know, if you push through with anything in life, you'll get either successful of it or you'll get to your goal or whatever you want to call it. So just keep working at it. So I read in a book somewhere one time, it said, if the goal is big enough, the facts don't matter, meaning the facts surrounding you, whatever's around you. So if shooting that buck's important to you, it doesn't matter how cold it is or if your feet are wet or anything like that, right? Yeah. All right. Hope that answers it. All right. Who's going to top that question? All right. This lady over here. She thinks she's got you beat, Junior. She thinks she's got a better question.
I just have a quick question. I am a wife of a hunter. I am a mother of 2 boys that hunt. I am a grandmother of 5 that hunt.
All right.
So my question to you is, now that I stay home, when they bring home their trophies or whatever, what is your favorite recipe to cook? Because I am running out.
You know, that's a pretty good question, but my favorite recipes, the ones my wife makes, because I don't have any recipes.
So if anything,
So you gotta find her on Facebook, Debbie Blood, Deborah, I think it's Deborah Bibber Blood, because that's her maiden name's how she's got it. Because every night, everybody, some of you people probably see them, she's posting the meals she's shoving at me every night, and everybody wonders why I don't weigh 300. So,
they like it different every time, so.
yeah, you know us guys, we're pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
We get some
Yes.
food in us,
You're happy.
pretty well
exactly.
set. Yeah. So she's actually did a cookbook, and then the other gal on the team, Candace, she does a lot of wild game stuff too. And we're trying to get them together to put out a book like that. Would that help you?
That would be great.
Yeah, I think if we can push them a little bit, easily, gently, nudge them, I guess that's what you call it. We'll nudge them a little bit, maybe we can get that done. All right. Who else? Not getting any questions about tactics or anything. I wonder why that is. You already got all that stuff down. There's Michigan right here.
Yeah, John from Michigan here.
Yeah.
I'm coming out to Maine. I got invited out here.
He's got the bug. Michigan guy's got the bug over here for Maine.
While I was invited, I do respect, I can't believe I've done a lot of research. I'm very impressed on how everybody hunts out here, their ethic and the hardship and the rewards they get from putting the effort in, like you said. But my question to you is, being that I'm coming out here, would you recommend me coming out for rifle season or waiting later for the muzzleloader season?
Rifle.
And why is that?
Well, it's just a little more difficult with muzzleloader season because it's like taking a knife to a gunfight. You only got one shot, right? And that might be all so saying, well, I only need one shot, right? That ain't always the case. I've shot at quite a few of them and hit a twig or something. They stand there and they look at you while you're trying to reload. Because a muzzleloader doesn't shoot like a rifle. It doesn't shoot through the brush. I don't know how much a muzzleloader hunt, but if a buck is in the brush, which they usually are, they ain't standing out in the open usually. The muzzleloader don't get through there that good. You just got to have that much more of a good shot. And any shot doesn't come all that often here, right? So you don't need to worry about, I know what you're thinking, you got snow. It's the later you go, the more snow there is, and it's not always true. Because I know, especially around the mountains, if you hunt around mountains, there's always places there's going to be some snow, early snow in the mountains, in the elevation. Up where I live, I'm fortunate, that's the way it is. In the last 4 out of the last 5 years, over my way, we've had snow the first week, tracking snow, first week of the season. And last year we had it the whole week, and half the week was in October. And then we didn't have any snow for a couple of weeks. And then we got some more. Every year is different. You just don't know what the weather's gonna be. And you know, you can say, you know, people say, well, they're worn down after, I think you asked about that when I talked to you this morning, they're worn down a little bit. Yeah, that's true, but guess what? They're not going anywhere. It's twice as hard to find a track because they might spend a couple days right in one spot and never go anywhere. So, all around, come during rifle season. How much time do you have?
As much as I want to take. I'm planning on coming out probably after the first week in November and hunting till the tail end.
Yeah, that's fine. Just bring your muzzle loader with you and stay another week. I think you got 2 weeks down your way, Lee? Yeah, so you got an extra 2 weeks, but nah, I'd want to be around. And I mean, if you can go whenever you want, just keep an eye on the weather. When it looks like snow is going to be blowing, jump in the truck and head out and then just stay from there. My favorite, people have always asked me what my favorite week is. Obviously, my favorite weeks are the ones with the snow, but mine is the first week if we got snow. We got snow the first week, that's my favorite week. Now, they're not traveling as much that week, but they're traveling enough, but they're not going very far because there's nothing going on. There's no does getting ready. There's nothing to chase around, so they're just ambling around. They're the easiest ones to catch up to.
So you think it might be best to come the first week too?
Yeah, first week's fine if there's snow, yeah. I mean, it's fine anyway, but I know you're coming, you want to learn to track and do some of that. Just keep an eye on the weather. You can a day's notice, you can come, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just watch the weather. That's it. Yeah. There's no advantage to coming muzzle waiting for muzzleloader season. No advantage to that. They don't weigh as much either. That's the problem. That I've shot a lot of big deer muzzleloader season that didn't weigh all that much. Like that Brutus one, if you've watched that one, that's a buck that early in the season would go 250 all day long. But he weighed 208, which is fine. I mean, it's a good buck, but still, if you're into the weight, then you ain't gonna have it that week. Hard to get one over 200 muzzleloader season. They're pretty rare. All right, who else? Yeah, right here, Ryland, right behind you.
So as a master main guide, what can you recommend to someone getting into tracking, tracking a buck a couple miles away from a road, safety-wise? Other than bringing waterproof matches, a space blanket, knowing how to use a map and a compass, what can you recommend for people to stay safe out there?
Well, what do you mean by staying safe? You mean being able to get out?
Well, just a way you walk that, prevents you from getting injured, something that you bring with you, maybe?
Well, if you're worried about all that stuff, you're not going to hunt very well. You can't go in the woods worried about if you're going to twist an ankle, because that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, Because then you're walking funny, and you will twist an ankle. That's what happens.
Or maybe just how to be prepared.
Yeah, just be prepared. Be prepared to spend the night in the woods. I always am. In my pack, I don't carry much, but I've got fire starters in there. I've always got an extra candy bar, a chocolate bar, and a granola bar in there extra. I got some twine if I needed to hook a little shelter together. I got a space blanket if I need it. But you don't need a lot. You're just gonna gather a bunch of wood up and tough it out. You're not gonna get a lot of sleep, but you ain't gonna die. Yeah, don't worry about that. What I do is I look at my time and I don't worry about where I'm going until the afternoon. And then I start, it's easy now. Back in the old days, we had no idea how far we were from a road. We had to guess. And probably we weren't coming out to the road we went in on, and we'd walk 5-6 miles back around on the road, which was fine. You were out of the woods. Nowadays, you can get your GPS, your OnX out, and you can, oh geez, I'm 3.5 miles from the truck. Well, if that's what you are, figure out how long it takes you to walk a mile through the woods. Now, if you're in any kind of terrain, you've got to add to that, because anything on GPS is straight line. In any kind of ridgy or mountainous area, you want to half it again. So if it says I'm 3.5, you're probably 5. Got it? You're going to walk 5 miles. And that's what you need to know. So how long is it going to take you to walk 5 miles? Everybody's different. If you just go right along, I always figure for myself, on average, without hurrying, I'll do 1 mile to 1.5 miles in an hour in rough terrain. If you're hunting in a level area, it's going to be less. So once you figure that out, it's pretty easy. Well, I'm 3.5 miles, I'm 2 miles, whatever you are, and that's when you cut your time. Because I always want to be back on the road. I don't care if I'm at the truck, but I want to be out of the woods at dark, because once it gets dark, your mile an hour is going to go to 1/2 mile an hour or less. And now you're twice as long getting out of the woods, and you're going to get out at 8 o'clock at night, you're going to get home at 9, you're going to eat at 10, and you ain't going to get enough sleep to hunt right the next day, right?
There's a great piece of advice, yeah. Make
Yeah,
sure you're ready
that's
to
it.
get out and hunt.
Yeah, my motto is tomorrow's another day. That's it.
Love it.
You know, Kenny Rogers used to say you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? Now, I ain't saying if I'm hot on one's track and I think he's right here in front of me, I'm going to push that envelope, of course. But if like in